So, title is what the title is. In a perfect world, I'd keep TJ Watt, Nick Herbig, and Alex Highsmith. But I mean, this is what Tomlin getting fired to really boils this shit all down to, really. I mean, TJ Watt is getting paid a ton of money, and the Steelers aren't going to get off of him. And then I put out a post saying the Steelers should trade Nick Herbig. People are saying I'm crazy. It's the stupidest thing they've ever seen, but Nick Herbig has never even had 10 sacks in a season, and he's coming up on the last year of his deal. And the reality is there's not really getting off of any TJ Watt deal, in my opinion, because of all the guaranteed money the Pittsburgh Steelers owe TJ Watt. So that's pretty much why I'm suggesting get rid of Nick Herbig now, because what's the point of even keeping Nick Herbig on this roster? Honestly, I feel there's no point. There's no need. You got to get what you can get for him, in my opinion. I mean, is TJ Watt overpaid? Yeah, but it's like you can't get off the deal at this point. You gave him $130 million guaranteed. So if they were to trade him right now, the Steelers would have to face such a large dead cap hit. And there's no, if you trade TJ Watt, you're saying that you're not even trying to compete this season. You're just saying you're done. You're not trying to compete. I think they signed TJ to basically retire as a Steeler. I mean, if he wants to go somewhere after these next 3 years, maybe he can, but I really don't see TJ going somewhere the next 3 years. Honestly, I feel like he should retire. This might be one of those situations where the Steelers might have to try to force TJ to retire. A lot of fans want to see Cam Hayward retire. He's getting paid a lot of money. So can you really build your defense around Nick Herbig? Where does Nick Herbig going to fit into the future plans for the Steelers? Does he fit into the future plans for the Steelers? I don't think so. And I think given this situation to where you're going to have to either be in a contract negotiation, not this offseason, but next with Herbig, or, I mean, I guess you could put a franchise tag on him, drag it along one more year. Is it even worth putting a franchise tag on Nick Herbig? Is he in the future plans, or should you might as well try to get some type of a return on Nick Herbig right now? I think I would at this point. At this point, I think nobody's untouchable. You got to do what's best for the team. And I think you got to start tearing this roster down and going in a new direction. Regardless of what happened with Mike Tomlin, he stepped down. They forced him to resign. I mean, the foundation's not there anymore. The new coach is going to want to bring in a new system, unless they bring in a carbon copy of Mike Tomlin and the defense and the 3-4 defense. I don't even know. I think the 3-4 defense might be outdated, honestly. Now, I probably won't trade it. You paid him, so he did it anyway. That's what I'm saying. I don't think you're going to trade him because they paid him, and there's no getting off of it. I mean, this is what I got from ChatGPT. Is TJ Watt overpaid from a pure, this is according to ChatGPT, from a pure dollar versus performance perspective right now, many analysts and fans do think his contract is costly relative to his recent production and age concerns. From an NFL market/value perspective, the deal is in line with how elite the players are being paid league-wide, especially given guarantees at position scarcity. So the answer isn't a simple yes/no. It is a yes if you judge by current performance and guaranteed money, and no if you judge how the market values elite defenders as of 2025. So, and then I put out the Herbig thing yesterday and got a ton of comments. Let's see. 912 comments. Anyone with eyes knows Herbig is the next TJ. TJ came into his career. So let's start with that. TJ came into the season, his career as an NFL player, as a first-round pick, man. So come on, man. Nick Herbig is not the next TJ Watt. TJ Watt came in and stepped in, was an instant starter. Nick Herbig was drafted in what, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, I think maybe even the 5th round, dude. Come on, man. You get drafted that late for a reason, because you don't have much pedigree. All right, 4th round, whatever. And has he developed into a good outside linebacker? Yeah. But Point is, you're going to have to start to pay him. And you can't pay all three of those guys. There's the odd man out here in this situation. So that's why I'm suggesting it. Why you trade Nick Herbig right now? Because there's an odd man out. You're not getting off TJ. He's coming into his new contract this year. They're not getting rid of him. You still need the face of the franchise, and TJ Watt is the face of the franchise, the captain of the defense. They'll probably bring Cam back one more year, maybe, unless he retires. They might probably talk to him and say, can you retire? We'll see what happens with Cam. But here it is, trade TJ instead. It's a comparison to Nick and Alex, older, injury-prone, not including the dry needle, higher pay demands, a harder contract, biggest cap space compared, easiest to trade simply by having the brand name of Watt. Focus on building up Jackson Sawyer, Peyton Wilson, Nick Herbig, etc. I mean, I think I agree with all that about TJ Watt, other than the fact that he says it's the easiest to trade. Yeah, would you probably get more of a return on a TJ Watt? Maybe possibly you get a first round pick for a TJ Watt. But you're still going to be paying TJ Watt. So is it worth the first round pick? You're going to get a first round pick, and then you're going to have to pay TJ Watt for the next 3 years. So he's going to eat up salary on your roster. So you better hope he comes back and basically plays as elite defender. I think that's why I'm not going to trade TJ Watt. And like I said, we're just going to keep Nick Herbig for 1 more year and then let his contract run up and then be putting it. I mean, I guess they could wait it out. But is it really worth having? You can get probably a second, maybe a third, a second and a third, maybe a second and a fourth, second and a fifth. Who knows? Maybe there's a team willing to give a first for a Nick Herbig. And then what? You get rid of the contract extension, and then you get rid of a backup for a first-round pick that could possibly go to the Steelers. Need an offensive guard. They need a tackle because I don't think they're going to bring back the guard whose contract's up. What the hell is his name? The Hawaiian, I can't remember his name right now. And then Broderick Jones. I don't think he's going to come back neither. So obviously you need linemen. You need another wide receiver. You could use a safety. You could use more depth in that secondary for sure that was getting gashed all season. So if you could get some type of value, you get a second and a fourth for a third, your backup outside linebacker, why not? Why not? That second and fourth could be instant starters for this team. Nick Herbig was what, a 5th-round pick, a 4th-round pick? So you're getting essentially 2 better graded picks than Nick Herbig. Why not? So there's a value. There's a value. And then you're not paying him no money. This is the last year of his deal. So, okay, you might have to get hit 1 million, 2 million if you trade him or whatever. That ain't nothing. To have TJ sit on the side to get traded, that's not going. I don't think that's going to happen. It's just not. Yeah, will you get more for a TJ? Yeah. But you're going to be stuck with the hit on top of that. That's why I don't think it's going to happen. So they invested in him, obviously, and especially with the dry needling thing that happened, I think TJ Watt has an instant lawsuit on his hands. So they're probably still in discussions about that and how they're going to handle that. So they're not going to just – I don't think they're going to throw TJ away. There's no way. Trade Watt and Highsmith to separate teams. We got Wilson, Herbig, and Sawyer, all solid. The young talent who got more sacks than Watt coming off the bench. Nah. He's very that's the thing. I said, Herbig could have had the more production than Watt. You don't pay Watt. You already paid Watt. You invested in the Watt. You invested in the Highsmith. That's the thing with the NFL. Once you invest in the players and you give them guaranteed money, you're not giving it off of them. You're essentially saying these are the cornerstones of our franchise. So that's why, Rooney's going to come out here and say, well, there's no wasted years. So if there's no wasted years, you're not going to trade the cornerstones of your franchise. And you're not going to fire a coach that hasn't had a losing season in 19 years. That's why this is a quote-unquote resignation. Even though I believe it's a force out, it's a quote-unquote resignation, not a force out. He's a very important part of this defense. Obviously, you're smoking something if you want him traded. Well, I mean, he's a third-string player on the defense. And does he fill in big shoes when a Highsmith and a Watt is out? Yeah. But you're telling me a Jack Sawyer can't do the same thing? We have Jack Sawyer right now. Jack Sawyer still got probably 4 years left on his deal, 3 years left on his deal. So who you want to give the third string reps to? Why not get Jack Sawyer? Why don't we give Jack Sawyer the third string reps? Bang. Draft another 5th round outside linebacker. Bang. Just like Herbig. You're telling me you can't get another Herbig? And then you have 2 rookie deals. You have a other rookie outside linebacker and another rookie outside. If that's what you really want to do, not a rookie. Sawyer would be in his 2nd year then. And shit, when Sawyer came in, he played well too. And you want to get younger. You want to keep these younger contracts on for the future. So you got to start building a new foundation here. And I don't see Herbig being in the future plans for the Steelers. So let's just say we run him out this year, then after that, then he's done. Maybe you have a little bit more leverage to get rid of TJ, but I'd say after next year, TJ is going to be even more worthless in a trade deal because he's 1 year older and getting even more money and probably just not as same 8-9 sacks, nowhere near elite level production. So who's really going to want to trade? Maybe right now, but then you're stuck paying him for the next 3 years. So that's when TJ, and that's all these people are saying, trade TJ, trade TJ. But these are all the same people, though. All these same people that are telling me that to trade TJ right now were all the same people telling me last year what they're telling me right now. This is a young player that has upside that can get more sacks than TJ. He's got more production off the bench than TJ. This is what I said last year about TJ Watt and why you don't pay TJ Watt the big money and you let Herbig be the next one in line to take his place. You could have put a franchise tag on TJ this year. He didn't live up to that production. Then the Steelers could have been that. There's no TJ Watt. There's $40 million. You could go out there and you could get a franchise quarterback. If there was a franchise quarterback, let's say in the free agent market, there isn't. There wasn't. There was one last year, though, Sam Darnold. And I was thinking about putting this meme out right now. If you could go back to last year and give $40 million to a TJ Watt or give a $40 million to a Sam Darnold, I guarantee you every motherfucker, majority is going to be. I'm putting that out today. And I guarantee you the majority is going to go to Sam Darnold. Because Sam Darnold is what, 26, 27, 28? So you get Sam Darnold on a 3-year, $130 million contract at quarterback instead of TJ Watt. The Steelers essentially could have had a quarterback for the next 5, 6, 7 years. The Steelers could be in the AFC Championship game right now if they actually would have went out there and signed Sam Darnold. Did he play good last game? No. But is he better than Aaron Rodgers? Did he play better than Aaron Rodgers? Probably. Definitely. Would he have had the amount of success with the Steelers offense? Maybe, maybe not. Probably, who knows? But this is about getting younger and making smart business moves. And with 1 year left on his deal, what's the point of keeping him? He's not in the future plans. You're not getting off Highsmith. You're not getting off Watt. I don't think that's realistic. It's not an option. It's not going to happen. You're stuck on it. So you got to live and die on that hill. And then you're telling me Sawyer can't be a third string outside linebacker to this Hannah Bird, whatever it is. He's a very important part of the defense. Obviously, you're smoking something if you want him traded. He's third string outside linebacker. He's not a starter. He's never had a double-digit sacks in his career. Could he have double-digit sacks if he went out there and was the starter every play? But guess what? TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith are on the roster. They're both getting paid way more than him. So he's not going to get more reps than those guys. It's just the bottom line speaks the loudest, and he's not getting more reps than those guys. That's just how it is. That's how it is. Thank you, God, you're not in the front office. But like I said, all these people that are wanting to trade TJ was wanting to give him a blank check right now. So Steeler fans are very, I think, wishy-washy and flip-floppy. Absolutely not. He's better than Watt. Hot take. I said that last year. Now y'all were on. Now y'all were on. Now y'all are seeing the vision. I'm crazy, but last year I was saying this. Okay, why would we trade the guy that we expect to step into Watt's spot once his Watt spot is? Dude, Watt signed for the next 3 years. This year, next year, and a year after that. What do you mean step in his spot? His spot's there for the next 3 years. And Herbig's gone after this year. Gone. You don't trade rookie contracts. Well, it's the end of his rookie contract to get 2 new rookie contracts that were a better rookie contract than what his. You probably get a second and fourth for a 5th-round pick that you originally invested in a 5th-round pick, and you can easily get a second and a fourth in return for a 5th-round pick. That's good business. That's good business. That's smart thinking. Smart thinking. Good thing you're not a GM. Watt just got a big contract. He's not going anywhere. You're damn right. Why though? You could unload Ramsey and Smith and free up $50 million in cap space alone. Okay. You can. You could free up. You could. I don't know if it's 50. It's like probably 20 for 20. I mean, if you throw on the salary cap that they have, yeah, it might be like 60, 50, something like that. You can't get out of Duggar's contract. Use some of the money, get another wide receiver and a true definition of a left tackle. I agree. Draft your next safety and start working on your younger defensive pieces and offensive pieces. Well, I could agree with that. Let's get off Ramsey too, because you can get off his contract. He's old. Get off that contract. Jonnu Smith. This dude wants to cut Jonnu Smith. And I'm going to tell you the justifications because I've been saying this. What's the point of paying a third will tight end $12 million per year? Do I think Jonnu Smith's good? Yeah, I think he's a talented player. But just given the way the roster is built, you got Darnell Washington and you got Pat Freiermuth. You're not getting reps over those guys. Maybe over Freiermuth occasionally, but you're splitting reps between Freiermuth, who's getting paid big money, Darnell Washington, who obviously they feel more better as being the tight end for the team and giving the most reps to, given how well he's played compared to the other two, and his ability to block. And maybe that changes with a new. See, this is the whole thing. Now you get a new offensive mind. Maybe they don't like a Darnell Washington. They like a Pat Freiermuth and a Jonnu Smith, guys that can go more vertical at the tight end position. In Washington, I don't know. He turns into a fullback role with a different OC. You never know. Like you bring in because Stefanski, he probably loves Darnell Washington. And I don't know much about these other guys, but still, I told you TJ Watt has passed his prime. So I was right. We're not going to big games anymore. My dad said we'll be like the Jets, Browns, and Vikings a while. I think that's possible because he's not meant to be traded. That's why I'm sure that's what I was thought when he was holding out before he signed the contract. TJ Watt's a Steeler for life, period. Well, I mean, I would have been if I would have gave. Well, see, what I said last year was you could have put a franchise tag on TJ Watt, which is essentially we retain his rights for 1 year at a pretty lucrative $35 million a pop. Okay. Or whatever. I think it was like 30. The franchise tag it would have been on TJ. So TJ wanted 40. The franchise tag is 30. As a negotiating key, as a negotiating tool, I'm going to say, okay, you're either going to take this 35 or you're going to take this 30 because I'm not coming here at 40. So you either come here at 35 or I'm going to force you to take 30. And I think that could be a problem with the Steelers too. And why, we're always not we're just good enough. We're just good enough to get in there, but then once you get in there, you get blown out. because you allow all these players to dictate and run around and demand all this money. You got to play a little bit of hardball with some of these players. Sometimes you got to. You can't hand out a blank check every time a player says, "Well, I want a blank check." I understand TJ Watt's a cornerstone of the franchise, but like I said, he's going to dip in production. He's not peaking. He's either peaked or at his peak, but there's no more 22 sack seasons for TJ. I'm sorry. You roll him back, but the idea of getting off his contract and having to pay him just not to be here, I think that's stupid. So he can still come in and impact games. He can come in, maybe give you a 12, 13 sack season. Obviously, he stays fully healthy, and he can still get you 3 forced fumbles, maybe 2, 3, 4. Who knows? Three more years, not 2, 3. This year, next year, and a year after that. Pretty sure. So goes from pretty sure goes to 2020, 2026, 2027, and 2028. So the next 3 seasons, they have TJ. And in 2027, Herbig is not on contract. Got 1 more year left on that deal. Highsmith is here till 2027. So this year, next year, and that's it. Maybe you can get off Highsmith. But one of them's got to go. And it's not going to be TJ. So I think it boils down to either a Highsmith or a Herbig. And you can free up a good chunk of cap space. You get rid of a Highsmith. Trading him this year wouldn't be worth it. So if let's say the Steelers decided to trade Highsmith right now, for what? You're going to get a first round pick for Highsmith? Probably not. Maybe, but I doubt it. You're going to have to pay him $11 million in 2026. And in 2027, you would have to pay an Alex Highsmith $5 million to save 15. In 2026, to trade him, you would pay him $11 million to save yourself around very close to $9 million. So is that worth it? I don't think so. You might as well you made him a cornerstone of your franchise. You might as well just roll him out there. But we got Herbig down here. 1 year left on his deal. Way, 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 way down here. Holy hell. One of the lowest paid players on the team. You save $1 million, 1.1 million by trading him, and you only got to pay him $168,000, which is nothing. Absolutely nothing. And then you can get 2 5-year rookie deals in return for Nick Herbig. Let's say a second and a fourth. So in a second, we got ourselves a wide receiver. And in the fourth, you want to go outside linebacker again? Because we got Herbig in the fifth. Telling me you can't find another Herbig in the fourth? If that's the route you want to go? Or maybe the route you want to go is having Sawyer as your third outside linebacker. That's what I do. But I think I'm going to end this. We got 10. I think I'm going to end this one, though. See what you have to say. Need a wide receiver in offense. Why screw with the defense? Defense didn't live up to their pay grade. Everybody bitches about, well, shit. Let's say we get off of Jalen Ramsey. $19.5 million in cap space. Freed up. Let's just say, okay. NFL free agent wide receivers. Okay. Let's see who the wide receivers are. We need a wide. I agree. We need a wide receiver. So who we got out here? Mike Evans, unrestricted free agent. Christian Kirk, unrestricted free agent. Trey Hendrickson, edge. Mike Evans, unrestricted free agent. Christian Kirk, unrestricted free agent. Debo Samuel, unrestricted free agent. Jonah Williams, Arizona Cardinals. Need a tackle, in my opinion. He's a right tackle, but Brandon Smith, Indianapolis Colts. He's one of the highest paid tackles in the league. So these are guys we can get rid of that. We need a tackle. We need a wide receiver. I mean, Debo Samuel's younger than Jalen Ramsey. He's making less than Jalen Ramsey. You cut a Jalen Ramsey, sign a Debo Samuel. Cut a Jalen Ramsey, sign a Christian Kirk. Cut a Jalen Ramsey, sign a Mike Evans. Those are all very old wide receivers, but those are the big name wide receivers out there. You probably get a better deal too. Travis Kelce. We ain't bringing him in here. Daniel Jones. Need a quarterback, Daniel Jones. Aaron Rodgers ain't coming back. Daniel Jones is the Aaron Rodgers. Joey Bosa. Huh. Tutu Atwell. There's a receiver. All right, position. I got to do it by position. Wide receiver. All right. Not too many great wide receivers really out there in free agency. I don't know. Rashid Shaheed. I mean, who we got out here? Keenan Allen, Jonah Dotson, Josh Reynolds. There ain't too many great free agents out there, man. DeAndre Hopkins, old as hell. I'm better off drafting one. I'd rather just draft a guy. You telling me you can't get a Herbig you can't get a second and a fourth for Herbig? I think you definitely get a second and a fourth for Herbig. So I don't know. If the defense is overpaid and we need more talent on offense, well, we got to start clearing the books here. We got to start accumulating, need more picks. And we got to start clearing off the books here. And we got to start adding talent on offense. So where's this at? All right, let's go left tackle. I think Steelers need a left tackle. Where we at? Who can we get out there? Tackle position. A guard too. Left guard. We'll go left guard. Guard. We'll go guard. Wyatt Teller. Kevin Zeitler. Isaiah Simalu. Free agent. He was making $8 million. He's 32. New York Giants. Evan Neal. Jets will probably resign this Alea Vera Tucker. Maybe. I don't know. There ain't too many great guards out there, neither in free agency. So Steelers are going to need a guard. Unless they decide to bring Isaac Simalo back. I can maybe see that. 1 year, 2 year deal, something like that. For what he was getting paid, $8 million, I'd do it, but gotta pay him. I don't think Herbig's one of our best players. Herbig's a backup. he gets few reps, not many reps. You can get a lot of value back. How many draft picks is Nick Herbig worth? See what they say. We'll Google it like you. He was a 4th rounder. Let's see. Who's going to chat GBT? All right. How much would Nick Herbig get? We're saying early 3rd round pick. Unlikely a 1st or a 2nd round pick. So I don't know. Depends on the return. Maybe a 2nd and a 5th. They're saying no to the 2nd. Give me a 3rd and a 5th. I might do it for a 3rd and a 5th. He was a 4th. Give me a 3rd and a 5th. I hope. But that's what they were talking on Stumbler's channel. Stumbler and Rudy G. Funks. I was on Rudy G. Funks, all the Cleveland fans, and they're like, oh, well, the Steelers fan base is spoiled. They're a spoiled fan base. You guys win every fucking year, and you're still upset. And he was bitching about them trading, getting rid of the coaches all the time and shit, and how they can never, none of the players can get comfortable in the one system because you're changing coaches all the time. So with the new coaches going to come changes on the roster, dude. That's just the bottom. That's just the reality that maybe fans don't want to hear. It's your favorite player or whatever. Just like when Ben Roethlisberger was at the tail end of his career, fans didn't want to admit to the fact that he was on the tail end of his career and he was just not the same anymore. Like, this doesn't mean I hate Ben Roethlisberger. Like you're saying, like Matt hates Ben Roethlisberger. I don't even know if he really hates Ben Roethlisberger. I think, he just gets mad at the coverage. Like sometimes I get mad at the coverage of Mike Tomlin because it's just, and it's like they deflect all the blame on the Tomlin side, in my opinion, sometimes. And it's like, Ben, he would do a lot of diva ass shit, bro, and the media just deflects it. He's forgiven. The fan base is forgiven. But if an Antonio Brown does it, or if a Le'Veon Bell does it, it's automatically, oh, you're not living up to the standard of the Pittsburgh Steelers. You need to get the fuck out of here. But say if like a TJ Watt came out and complained, or a Ben Roethlisberger came out and complained, I mean, they'll be, oh, well, we better make them happy. We better make them happy. We better kiss their fucking ass. So, I mean, I don't know. Does he even hate Ben Roethlisberger? Maybe. But, like, I don't hate Ben. But the reality is, the last 2 years, he was getting paid all this money, and he just wasn't the same, man. Like, Ben was the best. I even said on Stumbler's shit, like, Ben was the best backyard quarterback ever. But Father Time's undefeated, dude. I remember I put out a video about Mason Rudolph saying he's going to be the new starter, but then they went and signed Mitch Trubisky. But I said, Ben Roethlisberger's done, bro. It got like 25,000 views. And I was like, he's done, dude. He's done. Like it's over, and people. It was received. That was like the last year of Ben, like midway through the season. I was like, I'm sorry, or maybe it was in the off season. I was like, he's not coming back, and we're either gonna get like a Mason Rudolph as a starter, or like I don't know, a Jameis Winston or some shit. And they decided to go with Babitsky. Yeah, I wanted Winston at that. Winston and Mason to go at it. They brought in Babitsky, and we know where how that went. And fans love Ben. He won 2 Super Bowls or whatever, and they just didn't want to let go of the fact that it was, dude, it's over, bro. It's over. And the sad part is, when they gave him that big contract, first year of it, he got hurt, and he had to get what you call, I think it was basically Tommy John surgery in his throwing arm. I mean, some people bounce back from Tommy John's, but dude, it's like that ligament in your arm, bro, like to where Ben did not have the zip on the ball. Like that was Ben's thing, is he could fit it in windows that other quarterbacks couldn't fit it in windows. He just had the balls to just drop back and just bang. Like that Super Bowl pass that went to Santonio, one of the greatest drives in Super Bowl history. Like that's just you can't teach that. That goes against probably what you coach, that throw. That goes against everything you coach. Like, dude was like triple covered. And Ben just fucking says, I don't give a fuck. He drops right back and says, bang, touchdown. So he was one of those guys. But he didn't have that. He didn't have that it. He didn't have that it anymore. And same as with TJ. He don't have that it no more. But we're stuck on it. Like a Ben. Like a Ben. Can he give us 2, solid, maybe average, mediocre years? Yeah, probably. But with the way he's getting paid, he should have been Daniel Hunter against the Houston Texans instead of Daniel Hunter against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who dominated that game up front and was the main reason why the Houston Texans won that game. And the rest of their interior line dominated the Steelers up front. And when you're paying Highsmith and Watt to do that and they're not doing it, I don't hate Ben. But I was critical of him the last 2 years. I'm just not going to kiss his ass. I mean, I should kowtow. Like, I put out that video. Danny Smith, let's retain him. That's just kowtowing, bro. Like, what's the point of it? I mean, we're going to let's retain our special teams coordinator. Like, come on, man. And that's what I think, the future is holding for the Steelers here is kind of a tear down. At least little bit of we're going to start to scrap it down a little bit to rebuild it back up into something new. I don't even think they exactly know. They're probably throwing around a million different ideas. They're sitting in the circle in the meeting rooms and everything, doing what I'm doing, just throwing down ideas. Okay, if we get this coach, what direction are we going to go into? And, who's in the future plan? You bring in the coaches, obviously, and then you interview them, and then you get their probably assessment of the roster and how they want to go about things, So there's a lot of conversations to be had. And even Rooney said, like in the thing, he's like, we're not going to be closed-minded on this. So maybe that means they're willing and open to some sort of maybe culture change. Because like Ben, he came out and said the culture of the Steelers is running the ball and defense. But I think It's all making headlines. Ben calls out the whole Steelers philosophy. I think that's dramatic. I think Ben just gave his opinion, but they're using Ben's name and a dramatic headline to get clicks. The way the league's going, the rule changes and everything. That's what a lot of people say. It's not just Ben. The league is making it to precedent to basically they want you to be this big high powered offense. And the rules dictate that you get a quarterback that's going to be protected by all these rules. You go out there and you try to put up 40 points a game. Mark Madden says it all the time. Colin Cowherd says it all the time. A lot of these guys say it all the time. The thing is, I don't think Colin works much magic, to be honest. What magic has he done? Yeah, I don't know. Because you can go through all his business decisions, and they're not looking good right now. The John O. Smith Mink Jalen Ramsey trade. I mean, I'm not going to judge the George Pickens one. We're going to get a draft pick for him, obviously. George Pickens is probably not going to be with the Cowboys anymore. And that's what the Steelers were basically trying to avoid with Pickens is they knew that they were going to, like Herbig now, they knew. They said, well, if you only got 1 year left on your deal, we want DK for the future of our number one wide receiver, not you. So they made that decision. But we still got a third-round pick that who knows? Could be a wide receiver, could be a running back, could be an offensive lineman, could be a defensive lineman, could be a next 10-year starter in the NFL. You never know. Could be a bust. He does everything Tomlin wanted, so I don't know if that's so much the case. No More Colin probably has a way more closer relationship to Rooney than Tomlin. No More Colin's probably 2, 3, 4 times a week in Rooney's office. Tomlin's probably never sees Rooney. He sees Colin. So I'm at this one.